Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or night, depending on you are, of course. I want to welcome you all to this IDF webinar, which in title is The Power of Youth Academy. My name is Joana Vais. I'm the IDF Vice President, and I'm the Chair of the Youth Committee. I'm living with diabetes for the last, I think, 43 or 45 years, if my memory is correct. So my role is to welcome you all here. Can you pass to the next slide, please? And this to tell you that this webinar is part of the IDF Advocacy Academy, where you can find everything on the dedicated webpage. If you go to the IDF website, you can see there a full section on Advocacy Academy, and you got there everything that we do on terms of advocacy. Of course, the live sessions that is being promoted is for the IDF members, the Blue Cycle Voices and the Young Leaders in Diabetes, but the recording of that sessions are there for everyone to see. Next slide, please. I have a few housekeeping rules for you all. To let you know, as you might have noticed, that you are going to record the session, and then you can, if you are comfortable with, you can click on Zoom to generate subtitles. They are not really accurate. I have used it in the past, and I have to tell you that they are a bit weird sometimes, but it does help you out if you are not familiar with English. We are going to send you not only the recording, but the slides also on the feedback questionnaire. And I would like to ask you all to return the questionnaire, because that questionnaire helps out us to improve in the next times. We are going to have a Q&A session, and during the debate, we can use your questions as well. So please use the chat facility to post your questions to the speakers and to the panelists, because we are going to introduce them during the course of this webinar. Okay, to let you know also that people will receive a certificate if they attend 80% of the webinar. Professor Akhtar, the IDF president, could not be with us today, but he did send us a recorded message that we are going to show now.
It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this webinar that will discuss the incredible power of youth advocacy to enhance the efforts of global diabetes community. As you all know, diabetes is a global pandemic affecting all regions, countries, and communities. The condition can strike people of all ages, including young adults and children. The latest IDF Atlas estimates that over 650,000 children under the age of 14 are living with diabetes. This figure exceeds 1.2 million children and young adults under 19. For this reason, diabetes is a threat to both health, prosperity of a society of today, and health and prosperity of future generations. IDF is extremely committed to work with young people and engage them in all our activities. The current board has established a youth committee chaired by Professor João Naves from Portugal, who is moderating this webinar, alongside Vice President Irene Balsanko from Ukraine, Jackie Malouf from Lebanon, and Anna Fernanda Tenas from Ecuador. This year, we celebrate the 13th anniversary of the Young Leaders in Diabetes program. Since its introduction, the program has worked closely with a total of 322 young leaders from over 110 countries, strengthening their capacity to generate change for people living with diabetes in their communities. We are proud of everything that we have accomplished with our young leaders, and to have had the chance to support the current and upcoming generations of diabetes leaders. Young people are the present and the future. For this reason, I personally encourage all IDF members to collaborate locally and nationally with young people and nominate candidates to join the Young Leaders in Diabetes program. We count on you to help recruit excellent young advocates into global diabetes community. I wish you an interesting and productive webinar. Thank you.
Okay. So I want to thank Professor Akhtar to be so kind to send us this recording message. He would like to be with us, but he could not. He is to be elsewhere. So my role here, is to present the IDF program. Next slide, please. With us, as Akhtar has said, we have the rest of the youth committee from the IDF board, Ana Fernanda from Ecuador, Irina Vlasenko from Ukraine, and Jackie Malouf from Lebanon. Can you please, my beautiful young ladies that join me in the committee, to turn your cameras on to say hello to the people that are attending the webinar, please? Anna, I want to start with Anna. Anna, can you say just hello to the crowds out there?
Hello, good morning, esteemed members of IDF. It is my pleasure to be able to greet you and to take this moment to invite the young people to participate in this program, since in the field of diabetes knowledge, education, and teamwork are valuable processes that ensure adherence to treatment. False, but you who live with this condition day to day shall be the ones to do it. Thank you for being part of this initiative and for generation interested in working of programs and projects for the benefits of your peers. I am sure that we can count on your participation. En español, para todos los miembros de SACA, es para mí un gusto poderles saludar y aprovechar este momento para invitarles a todos los jóvenes a participar de este programa, ya que en el campo de la diabetes, el conocimiento, la educación y el trabajo en equipo son procesos valiosos para lograr que las personas se adhieran al tratamiento. Y quién más que ustedes que viven con esta condición en el día a día, sean quienes lo hagan. Gracias desde ya por ser parte de esta iniciativa y generar el interés de trabajar en programas y proyectos en beneficio de sus pares. Estoy segura de que contaremos con su participación. Thank you.
Gracias, Ana. Thank you. Irina, can you say just a few words?
Yeah, a few words. Thank you very much, Joao, for introduction. I'm Irina Vlasenko from Ukraine. I'm very happy to be with you. I come to diabetes movement on international level from youth activity. I know this, and I'm very happy that we have many young people who are very active in advocacy, because it's our life with diabetes. And I'm sure that you join to our program and you will be happy as we. Thank you.
Thank you, Irina. Jackie, can you say a few words of welcome, please?
Of course, my pleasure. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. I would like to say that I strongly encourage every member association to nominate one or more of their young active members like yourselves for this beautiful program called Young Leaders in Diabetes. We have heard our president say it's been 13 years, and we wish for it long and many more years of successful events. And I would like to say that from my perspective, not only as head of a diabetes organization or only as vice president of the International Diabetes Federation, or even as an active member of this youth committee, but mostly and most importantly, as a mother of a daughter living with type 1 diabetes, I can attest that nothing is more uplifting, nothing serves more to your well-being than connecting with peers who are living and who share your same condition. So this is the beauty of this program of networking with others across the globe, no boundaries, no limits. And I would really encourage you, whoever is attending, please talk to your member association in your country and tell them you want to continue with this program. You want to nominate, if you are already a young leader in diabetes, that you want to nominate other young people to benefit from this amazing program. Thank you.
Thank you all. As you're going to see over the next few minutes, there are a lot of benefits to nominate people, youngsters, to this program. Can you show the next slide, please? I know we know that it's always a challenge to find a suitable youngster to nominate sometimes, but I think there are multiple ways of doing so. And when you see the benefits for the people that are going to be part of the Young Leaders in Diabetes program, but also to the members of IDF that do nominate youngsters to the program, I think all of you will be convinced, if you are not yet already convinced, to nominate people. So the Young Leaders in Diabetes started in 2011. That was the first program that we organized because we wanted and we want to empower people living with diabetes, youngsters living with diabetes. We started off in the program to say that to nurture the next generation of leaders in diabetes. But then after a while, we rephrase it, because in fact, we are not nurturing the next generation of leaders. We are empowering the actual generation of leaders. Because for me and for us, it's really a pleasure to see people that that were part and are part of the Young Leaders in Diabetes, that are assuming higher positions in local associations, and also in the international level. So, as I said, this started in 2011. It started a bit before, in 2006. The seed of the Young Leaders Diabetes was the IDF Youth Ambassadors Program, which started in Cape Town in South Africa. Next slide, please. The goals of the YLD network, as it was mentioned already, we want to create a powerful network of youngsters that to promote diabetes, that would fight discrimination and stigma. I think stigma and discrimination happens in every single country of the world. We know that in some countries more than in others, of course, but it's something that it happens in every single country. So we want that those that are part of the Young Leaders in Diabetes Network to be a key driver for changing the world in a way, and to improve the quality of life of people living with diabetes. This can be done at the regional level, national level, and international level, of course. Next slide, please. One thing that we need to highlight is that this program, each cohort, it lasts for 3 years. So we have launched a call for nominations that are open now, and the nominees and those selected are selected for a 3-year period, which for the face-to-face training is a part of the training, but the YLD let's say graduation is not only the face-to-face training, which will be running in parallel with IDF Congress in next year, March next year, but the face-to-face training is only a part of the training. As you can see, there are the online training and initiatives. So those that are going to be nominated and accepted in the program, not all are going to be on the face-to-face training, but all are going to receive the online training and initiatives. Those that are not going to be in the face-to-face training, they have a role to play, which is a relevant role to play. As you can see here on the left-hand side, they will receive the newsletters, They will have access to the LinkedIn group and to the school and other initiatives. And those that are not selected to face-to-face training, they are going to be as well a part of this network of advocates. Next slide, please. This is a picture of the 6 face-to-face trainings done so far. You can see here the places and the years. You can see that the face-to-face training were done every single time in conjunction with the IDF Congress. And you can see the numbers here, and it was already mentioned by Akhtar. We had 322 participants from 110 countries. So you can see the powerful network that we have created. And we truly believe that this powerful network of young advocates is really making a difference every single day of our lives. Next slide, please. What's one thing that the Young Leader in Diabetes has to do is a project, and the projects are linked with the member association that nominated him or her or they. And we can see here two examples of the projects that can be done. I have to say that the projects are quite flexible. The project must be done in conjunction with IDF member. The IDF member has a role to play there as well, because the project, as I said, and the reporting process that we have to monitor development and implementation of the project, the member association has a role to play as well. The reports has to be signed by the member association. So those that are attending this webinar, I call your attention for that, because sometimes there is a disconnection between the IDF member association and the project that are being done by the Young Leaders in Diabetes, and that's something that should not be happening. So, because at the end of the day, who will benefit from the project are the people living with diabetes and caregivers. Okay, next slide, please. So, why you, an IDF member, should nominate a young leader? There are tons of multiple good reasons, of course. You can see here some good reasons, of course. The young people is access to all of us, to IDF as well, as a global, and to the IDF members as well. They can innovate, they can help your association to grow, they can act as mentors to other people, to other youngsters, for instance. And they have to say that many of them are inspirations for children and young adults with living diabetes. But not only, I have to say that the YLD members are not only an inspiration to children and young adults, they are also an inspiration to all of us. They are an inspiration for me. I feel inspired from many of the YLD that I know. So it's a really good argument. And of course, you as an IDF member, you would to give support to the YLD, and we have to, in a way, invest your time, of course, to help out these. We are still using next generation of leaders, but the actual next generation of leaders, of course. And we have a young ambassador from your association in collaboration with IDF board and staff. So Anna, Irina and Jackie, do you want to say anything else to convince those that are not already convinced to nominate a youngster for the YLD?
Joao, I think everyone attending here is enough motivated for this, but it's never too much. As you mentioned, they are our motivation to do our work. Because of you, we exist. Because of you, we are here. Because of people motivated, because of leaders like you, we are here. And yes, please be persistent, be perseverant. tell the member associations in your countries that they need to have a they need to nominate leaders from your country. Everyone needs to have a voice, and the training is amazing. And we have amazing people like Joao himself and all of us putting everything we have in there, putting our hearts out there to together with you be the inspiration for others to come. Thank you, Joao.
Yes, I think that the audience today is aware of that. But then I would like to thank all of you that are attending this webinar, that have nominated already people to the YLD, and they are considering nominating more youngsters to this cohort. So thank you for that. Your help is needed. Yeah, and without your support and help, nothing would be done. Okay, so I think you need to move on to the discussion. Next slide, we are going to have a video from the Lisbon training session. Can you please, Manon, play the video now?
Я считаю, что молодые лидеры диабета очень важны, потому что это
E para fazer a comunidade de diabetes mais unida e mais saudável.
کشورهای مختلف، بچه‌های مختلف از جاهای مختلف ไทยมากแล้วเราก็แบบได้โอกาสได้คุยเรื่อง
Con todo el conocimiento que adquirí aquí puedo lograr varias cosas con mi fundación.
Sper să cresc nivelul de awareness al populației și ca ei să înțeleagă că diabetul este ceva cu care se poate trăi.
Quiero llegar a casa para poder ayudar a más adolescentes que viven con diabetes a que la vivan y no la sufran.
بيت أنا بتوقع إنه أقدر أنشر المعلومات اللي أخذتها هون مع باقي الناس اللي معهم سكر.
וזה חשוב לפתוח את הראש ולעזור אחד לשני בצורה גלובלית וביחד לייצר קהילה שהיא יותר חזקה ומפותחת.
Cina change agala ocupa muito training.
And all together we get to work to advocate strongly for diabetes.
So as you could see, there are a lot of diversity on this program, and you could see that they spoke on their own natural language. Of course, the program, the face-to-face training is done in English because of his reason. But if someone has some difficulty, we can find out the ways of helping out, and they can. And this video, you can see that they spoke on their national language, which is also something that we wanted to show every time because there's diversity and inclusivity on that. Next slide, please. So we are going to have a discussion panel with three young ladies. Alexandra in Portuguese. I would say Alexandra in Portuguese, not Alexandra in English, as it is, from Portugal, which is an YLD alumni. Laura from New Zealand, and Nurian from Aruba. Many thanks for joining us. We are going to have a discussion panel with three of you, which will be moderated by myself and Jackie. Can you open up your cameras, Alexandra, Laura, and Nurian, please? And we can do one thing. We can do a fast roundup of short introduction from the three of you. We're going to start with Alexandra, Laura, and Nurian. Alexandra, can you say a few words about yourself before starting with the real discussion?
Okay, hello. Hi, everyone. It's very good to be here. I was a YLD in 2013 in Melbourne. Then I went to Abu Dhabi 2 years after the Melbourne. I have type 1 since 1995. I'm 40 now. I'm not as younger as I would like. Being a participant in the YLD program changed my life and my perspective of living with diabetes. That's why I'm still working in the diabetes sector, and that's why I try to impact more lives of people with diabetes.
Thank you, Alexandra. Laura?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I was really excited to be invited to do this today, so thank you for inviting me to speak here. I am in the current YLD cohort. I'm from New Zealand, and I'm also the Western Pacific Regional Rep at the moment, which is quite exciting. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
Thank you, Laura. Nurian, please.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited to be here with you all. I'm from Aruba, the One Happy Island, and I participated in the 2019 generation of the YLD program. So I participated in the summit in Busan in South Korea. It's quite cold. I come from a warm island, so you can imagine the contrast. But it was amazing, and I've always participated in social projects, but I think that YLD really marked a before and after in my life, and I tend to promote this and stimulate others to do the same. So I'm very happy to be here and still be participating, even though it's been almost 5 years and I'm still active within the community, and that makes me extremely ecstatic to help everybody else in our community and beyond that as well.
Thank you, Nurian.
Thank
Laura,
you, ladies.
Can I ask you one thing, Laura? Sorry, Jackie. Because Alexandra and Nurian has touched one thing that we would like to discuss with you as well. That's what was the impact of the YLD in your life? How does the YLD program impact your life?
I think in so many ways, actually. I've actually been feeding back to my member about this recently, because we're obviously discussing, like, do we want to send another young leader into the program? And I'm highly recommending it, because I think not only has it helped me, like, I feel more in control of my diabetes, I have other people around the world that understand me and I can connect with, like more of a sense of community, but it's also given me a lot more skills as a leader. I feel like more confident in my day-to-day life, like to take on challenges, because this is something I never saw myself doing. And then I sort of jumped in at the deep end, and it's been honestly life-changing. Yeah, it's really boosted my confidence, and the community side of it has been really, really good.
Wow, Laura, and you wanted to keep this for yourself. We all want to hear what you have to say. That was amazing. And this is why we are here. Let me, first of all, welcome you, ladies. It seems like International Women's Day. Sorry, Joao, no discrimination to any man here, but it's like, look at these amazing young women. And let me say, Alejandra, as we would say in Spanish, because I do speak the language, you are young at heart. I'm a grandma and I feel super young, so let's not go there. So let me, for this time, ask all three of you. I'm starting with Nurian, then Laura, then Alejandra. When you attend any event at all, and I still do myself, I have certain key takeaways. Sometimes it's the networking, sometimes it's something that boosted my self-confidence. It can be anything. If I were to ask you, when you attended the amazing training of the YLD program, what were your takeaways? If you could name 1, 2, or 3, feel free. So let us know. What were your takeaways, Nurian?
I think the first thing is if you are not exposed to a diabetes community so diverse before, it's absolutely all the kind of resources that you get to be exposed to. And I'm not just speaking about skills that you happen to practice or develop or learn at the summit, but also just human people who have different cultures, different ideas and practices. And that is the best thing that I could take away. And I really learned how I could implement different things in my life and help others. And these are not resources of things that I could just read online. This is real life experiences that I take as a lesson for me and that I can bring as a lesson to other people. That's the best part of it for me.
Amazing. Amazing. I always notice when we do the support group and our young people start talking to each others, it's like, I'm the outsider, let me move away. It's like you have this strong connection. Imagine being amongst so many young people from different parts of the world. So what was it for you, Laura?
I think, yeah, kind of what Nuriad said. It's like a lot of, yeah, I just agree with that. I can add on another thing though. It's probably, oh, my mind's gone blank, guys. It's 1 o'clock in the
It's
morning
okay.
here.
Take your time. You want Alexandra to speak before, whenever, jump in. Say, I
no.
have it now. It came to my mind and just say
It's
it. Don't
okay.
worry. Okay.
It's okay. I've got it. I've got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yep, I've got it. It's too early in the morning. I would say it's like the passion you get from everybody there. So it's like I came back feeling like so inspired by so many different people that I met. Like they've all got such different experiences and they're going through different things day to day. And I think maybe I realized like I was a little bit sheltered in like my bubble here in New Zealand of like what we have, and it really opened my eyes up to like what everyone else is experiencing with their diabetes management and things like that across the world. So I think then to see how passionate they were about making a difference, it really, really inspired me. Like I remember I came back from training and I wrote like 3 A4 pages of ideas, like what do I want to do? I was like, I've got all these ideas just ready to go. And then I also had that community that I'd built that I could go back to and say like, do you have any ideas like how I could do this? Or have you done this before? Because I'm a little bit stumped on where to start. So yeah, that was probably my biggest takeaway.
That's excellent. And I see where it's coming from. It's really inspiring. And we often think that our problems are the major problems of the world, but then we sit and we look around and we hear other people and our problems become minor compared maybe to others. And not only that, when we share them, they diminish a little bit. Let me say, I want to thank everyone who's attending. I see that we have a good number of attendees. Thank you from the heart for being here. Please do transmit the message and motivate everyone to nominate YLDs. So, Alexandra, let us know your key takeaways.
Yes, the thing that it was remarkable for me, it's the different access of treatments that I faced when I met people from around the world, and it's like an open eye, you know, to see and to make sure that you try to do your best, but you have to be very active in your country and in your continent to improve the environment to people living with diabetes.
This is interesting. I do remember hearing a couple comments from young leaders in diabetes from different countries. One of them told me, I think I'm going back to my country as a different person. I said, it's not. Yeah. It's not true. You're not a different person. You're just like a good version of you. You're just feeling like an overwhelming well-being. I love the word, and we're going to hear a lot about it at IDF in the coming year, because now it's all about well-being. It's not diabetes, it's how you manage it, how you feel about it. Thank you for sharing with us those amazing takeaways. And I'll give the floor to Joao.
Thank you. One thing that we would like to hear from you is about the projects that you developed or you are developing at the moment. And how do you see that projects benefiting not only people living with diabetes, of course, but benefiting also your national or local member association? Because as I said, part of the training process and part of the commitment that those that are part of the Young Living Diabetes Network is to implement a project, which, as I said, it can be anything that you want to implement in a way, of course, focus on diabetes and people living with diabetes and the association, of course. But then I would like to hear from you. Do you feel that the project you developed and implemented does rely on your local association? How was it? How is being it? Of course, because Laura is implementing it. So can you share with us? Let's start with Nurian this time to be, let's say, democratic.
I love this question because I've had quite a journey with my project. When it was the time for us, our generation, to start with our projects, COVID hit. So my project was a lot of interaction with children, schools. Everybody was teaching online, and it was very difficult to continue right after COVID as well. So the timing for me, it didn't work out at that point. Everything I tried to do and change it, it was not working out. So we tried to do some things online. But after that, it really spiked and boomed. A lot of organizations approach us to do projects at schools, for the teachers, for companies, just to raise awareness about diabetes and how people can be supported in the workplace or at school. But now diabetes kits in Aruba, it has gotten more popular with time. And I love to see that because it's really the fruits of all our labor, trying to promote it in all the schools. And we have at least 3 visits a year, and most of the time it's all in November. So you can imagine how hectic it gets. But it is working out, and just telling my story and being able to do that also helps a lot. And students and children, youngsters really appreciate it. Sometimes we think people don't want to hear about it or they don't want to know the details, but they are really very interested, especially because it's a small island and we can all help each other out. And we're so close because we're not so many, but it unites us in a way. And that's the biggest success I could say from the project. People keep asking, and that's what matters to me.
Joao, allow me to interfere 1 second here, because you tackled on a very important point. You said you were not able to do the project. I want to tell everyone here that it's about trying. It's about planning the project. Yes, of course, you want to implement it, but what we want to see you do is structure the idea in your head, have the commitment, do the reports, even though for A or B circumstances, you were not able to achieve the impact you were dreaming about. We want to see the project progressing even in ideas. If you can make it happen, excellent. So that was my comment.
Yeah, but yeah, apart from that, COVID was it was, and you said earlier, the project doesn't materialize because you said it makes a difference, and people keep asking you for that. And as you said, connecting people and making people closer to each other in the diabetes community is something that we need to achieve more and more, and this really make a difference. It doesn't matter if it's a small island as you are living in. Portugal is not a big country, as you know. It's a small country. Or if you live in New Zealand, it is really a big country, of course. But connecting people at national, more regional level or international level, it's what it makes a difference at the end of the day. If people are connected and help each other, something good will happen at the end of the day. So, Alexandra, can you share with us your project and how it's gone?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was,
don't say that, Alexandra. Don't say that. I know since she was 13 years old. Don't say that, please.
It was 11 years ago, and it still happens. It's monthly meetings with people with diabetes. It started with face-to-face meetings, then with COVID, we did by Zoom. Now we are doing 1 month face-to-face and the other by Zoom, because that way we have people from all of the country and out of the country. But when it is face-to-face, it's just for people living in Lisbon. It's not so fair. So we try to mix. Yeah, we have lastly we choose a topic to discuss, and the objective is to be together and to create relations with between people with diabetes, and helping each other as peers that we are. And it still happens now. It's Mariana from Portugal. She participated in the IDF Europe leadership camp. She's now leading the project, and yeah, it's very amazing to connect people and to and feel that at the end of the day they feel much better to be together 1 hour with each other.
And to add on, because I'm Portuguese as well, and I know the projects that the face-to-face sessions, monthly sessions, are done on the premises of the EPDP, the Portuguese Diabetes Association. There is a clear link with the national association. Okay, and as Alexander is saying, doing it online, it gives a chance for those not living around Lisbon to participate as well, which is also a very good thing to do. Laura, can you share with us, please, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I am in the current cohort, so I'm still working on my project, but actually progress, like you say, has been a little bit slower than anticipated. I think that's one thing I've kind of learned from this, is just being able to bounce back and find solutions, because I'm currently in the process of organizing like a national youth leadership program for us here. So the idea is that we will train like say like 13 to 18, if not slightly older, here. They'll be trained up to become youth leaders here. So they'll be more involved with events. They'll have more sort of knowledge of how to deal with like the youth on our camps and teen camps. But then also to give them that sense of community so they can all connect with each other. And I've been working really closely with my member, and they've been really supportive. So it's been going well so far. It's just a slow process.
You're jumping ahead of my coming question to all of you, because we heard you talk about the project, and we do know as IDF board members the important role that the associations must be playing, and it is their role to motivate you, to support you, and to be next to you. I appeal to every member association from IDF not just to nominate the YLD. It's an ongoing journey. They need to go hand in hand. They need to assign, if needed, a person to support this young person, never to feel the project is a failure or anything of the kind. There are challenges indeed, but together with your association, you should be able to face those challenges. So my question to you is, how did you feel the support? Was it in collaboration, your project, was it done in collaboration with the member association who nominated you? So let me start with Alex at this point. Do they call you Alex too?
Yeah, could be.
Okay, so Alex, how was this experience from the perspective of a member association, and how did they support you? Was it enough? How was it?
Yeah. I have the support of my association, the IPDP, Diabetes Portugal, with the
Forget that Joao is listening. Please be honest, okay? Forget that he's here.
But yeah, it's true. Joao is my biggest support of ever. but also my association and the clinical director. They were amazing, and they still are. They still try to do their best to support the young leaders nowadays. So yeah, we use the building of the APDP to have the sessions and to have other meetings. And I work at APDP nowadays, and I am the coordinator of the youth group. It's well, I as a professional, I try to help other young leaders to develop their projects. But it was from the responsibility of I'm being there. It's from my association. They support me and support the young leaders.
You touched on a very important point by saying that after you've done it, you are supporting others to do it. This is the sustainability we look forward. This is the continuity in the work. We don't want to do one term, one cohort. We want to enable, to help, to empower people and young leaders so they can do the same to others. Laura, I know you're doing this particular cohort. Tell me, in other words, what do you expect from your member association to do? I want to see your perspective. What do you expect them to do? What would you like to see them do to be able to say, yes, I have the full support?
So, I mean, because I've been in the cohort a couple of years now, so I have had a lot of support from my IDF member. They've been great, and more than anything, I feel like my opinion is valued, which is just amazing. So like while we're developing this program, there's sort of like a group of 4 of us working on it, and they'll always come to me and say, hey, you are the young person of the group, so you know how to relate to these people and like what you can really do for them, which is something I'm passionate about because I was a nightmare teenager with my diabetes. So one thing I care a lot about is giving back to youth with it, because I just know how alone it can feel and then how that impacts their management and their well-being. But not only have they been very supportive and encouraging, they've also given me a lot of other opportunities. So I've been in magazine articles, I've had like a medical identity bracelet named after me. It's quite crazy, but it's really, really cool. Yeah, to be involved and to be supported.
Wow, this is amazing. Really, you're giving ideas to everyone here, and I'm the first one taking those ideas. This is great. So Nurian, let us know. How did you feel the support?
Just before you start, Nurian, you can also not only answer what Jackie was asked, but there is a question for you in the chat. Have you seen that thing? So can you point out on your intervention that the reply to that question, please? Thank you.
Yes. So I'll start there. Thank you, Zhao and Jackie. I'm an educator myself. I work at the university, and one of the things that I think is that everything that I do is to pass it on to the next generations. And there's no point in knowing more and learning more and growing if I can't do anything with it or help anybody else with it. And that, to me, it has been mentioned before as well, is very important. And why I love to do projects with children, because whenever we plant that seed early on, they are going to grow and remember this forever. And that impact is it's irreplaceable, it's difficult to reverse. And that's one of the ways I believe we can create a huge impact globally, but also in our countries, but globally in the sense of using technology to share what we do. Sometimes our nations are more alike than we think. At the end of the day, we are all humans and we all experience similar things. We may have our different cultures and backgrounds and traditions, but there are some things that we do have in common. And I felt that when I went to the summit. And we come from different countries. I met people from 40 different countries, and we all had at least 1 or 2 things in common. And that is something that we have to use as one of our instruments to move forward. And it doesn't matter where we are. If I'm here in Asia, Europe, wherever I am, I'm still a member of the global diabetes community. And it still makes me sensitive when I'm in a plane and I hear a sensor go off, or when I'm in an airport or in a public space and I'm aware of everybody else around me. It just makes me more sensitive and more conscious that I'm not alone. Maybe we do not recognize, identify each other, but we're here. And it makes me more aware and more sensitive to everybody else. And also maybe even stronger mentally to keep moving forward. So that's how I look at this, this beautiful question. Thank you for the question, Joe.
Picking up on that, we have the comment from Clarissa from Uruguay saying the same thing, that the experience working with YLDs has been great, because when they come back to the Uruguay, in this case, they are willing to work with peers to change. I mean, it's the same thing that you were mentioning before. So I would like to challenge you now, because each one of us has a specific view on the role of the youngsters to play in each organization, doesn't matter if it is YDF or your national local organization. So in a way, why do you think that the youngsters can intervene and can do something in link with the organization? Meaning, what do we need a youngster within our organization? What you can bring to the organization, to the board of the organization, for instance. And there's a question around in the chat, I think, or a comment. Why, or in this respect, can you work as a youngster with older people like myself? It's a challenge.
Well, I feel strongly about this, and I think we live in an ever-changing, revolving society and community. That means that things change every single day. So when we don't have that contact with the younger generation, the children, youngsters, anybody that is younger than we are, we miss a part of the community, and we need to see and identify all these voices and experiences in everything that we do. And we want everybody to be included and represented in the experience. I cannot say that my diagnosis experience would be exactly the same as a 5-year-old today. The technology has changed. The perspective has changed. We even have movies that include diabetes elements in it. I never imagined that that would happen at a certain point. I never thought of it. And when we don't include our peers, our own peers, to learn from each other, or the younger generation, the upcoming generation, we're not able to pass on what we know from the past, because knowing what we have done also gives us an idea on where we are heading and where we want to get to or what we want to achieve. And when we don't have their input from each other, we're not sure what is happening, how it's changing. And it's perfectly fine to have different perspectives. We just have to use them to our advantage to make it better for all of us.
Thank you, Nira. That's one of the key aspects in my view. Laura, can you share your vision on that, on your thoughts?
Sorry, was that me?
Sorry, Laura, I was not clear enough.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I agree. I feel like, I mean, here we've been focusing on getting the perspectives of people from all ages. So like, you know, depending on if we want to target our project to, at some point we were looking at mentoring like younger children, but then we also need the parents' ideas and like opinions and feelings on that. So I think, yeah, we've been trying to include like a lot of different ages to make sure that we are sort of understanding and hearing everybody. But I think, yeah, especially as like young leaders, we can offer a very different perspective, because I know even my member has said to me a few times, like, you are our youth voice. Like on the youth committee that we have, our youth forum, I am one of the youngest ones. And so I can bring a different perspective and my own experiences, which is really helpful.
Thank you. Yes, indeed, it's and before giving the chance to Alexander to say a few words as well, and pass to Jackie for the final comments. I think you are correct in saying that we all benefit from different perspectives, and I think the youngsters are there to challenge the structure, to challenge the older people, to challenge what you want to challenge, because otherwise nothing will be improved, in fact. So I do really rely a lot on the youngsters to come up with new ideas, innovative ideas, and to have a different vision or perspective of the same thing that we are that we have on the table. So from different perspectives, we are going to have better decisions and better outcomes of those decisions. Alexandra, can you please share with us your vision?
Yeah, our president, the IPDP's president, he likes a lot the young, the youngs, the ideas of the youth people, and that's as they said before, Laura and Nurian, we can add other perspectives on the organizations, and even treating our diabetes, we have different information, different treatments, and we can share and propose to the older people to use a new kind of treatment. You know what I mean? Yeah, because with along the years we sometimes stop our I'm sorry, we stop to the evoluir.
The evolution.
Yeah, the evolution of yeah, and that's why it's so important to have people together with different ages. We also have a project for people with type 2 diabetes. They walk together every Saturday morning, and they are together since 4 or 5 years, and they are much better now treating their diabetes and accepting the disease than before the starting of the group.
Thank you, Alex. We have only a few minutes. I would like to end this amazing sessions. Of course, thank you all for the comments in the chat. I wish we could really do what you're asking. Now, Alex shared a little bit about the project because Betsy was asking if they can share what the project is. And I think along the conversations, they mentioned all of them, plus or minus what the project is. I would like to end on a very empowering and positive note, not before thanking all of you for sharing those really lived moments with us, very intense comments. If you were to say a couple sentences to the new generations, yes, you are young, but there are younger people along the way. Each of you from your own perspective, because obviously Alex and Nurian are more experienced than Laura. So from your heart, if you were to say a couple sentences, how would you empower the new young leaders in diabetes? By saying, Nurian?
I would say this is a phrase that I learned in our community. You're greater than your highs and lows. When I state this, it gives me so much power, because even though you're new to this, or sometimes it's very difficult, there's always somebody to pull you back up when you're in your low. And when you're in your high, you can look back and see everything that you've learned from everybody else. And just to close up for myself, was a pleasure. Honestly, the Diabetes Kids Project in Aruba has taught me so much. It reminded me that everybody matters, and that our time here doing our projects is really for a purpose, and the purpose is to pass it on to everybody else. And in the future, I would want to see more intergenerational projects. I hope and wish on that, and keep empowering everybody else to continue learning. It's a lifelong journey. So let's make it beautiful and makes ourselves stronger in the journey. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Nurian. Thank you. We are definitely short in time now. I know we're getting all kind of comments. Thank you for sharing those comments, but unfortunately, we don't have really much time. So, Laura, tell us briefly, how would you empower other people, motivate them to get into this program?
I would say it's something that you really just have to embrace because the impact of it can be incredible. Like the feeling that it gives you to connect with these people, network with people from across the world and feel so supported is just life-changing. And then the life skills that it gives you as a leader as well is definitely worth it. And I know there's like a whole load of alumni, which will be me in the future, hopefully, that will be willing to support along the way and guide. So
thank you. Someone is asking how to join. I would say contact your member association, your local member association. They need to nominate you to the program. It's not on individual base. So this to answer quickly. And we will end with you now, Alex. What would be your empowering comment?
Yeah, just to focus on the passion of improving the life of people with diabetes. That's my message.
Thank you. This is in the mission of Dialab, the organization I represent and that I founded. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joao, for letting me jump in and co-moderate along with you, because this program has really a special place in my heart. Thank you, all of you, for being an inspiration to all of us. And thank you to all the attendees.
Yeah, but we are not finished up now. We are still on the webinar. We'll continue. We are ending the debate with three quite motivated and quite interesting young ladies. Thank you for joining us. And we are going to have now a moment of explaining the process of the YLD, but then after that we are going to have another session of Q&A. So we are going to try to answer a few questions that were put on the chat right after this short intervention of our staff and dedicated staff. And I would like to thank Bea, Beatriz, Bruno, and Isor for all the things that they have done for the youth program, and they are doing and will doing in the future. Without these three dedicated people in the IDF office, nothing really would happen. So, Beatriz, Bruno, and Isor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Joao. And well, YLD, I think it also has a very special place in the heart of Bruno, Isor, and I. I guess everyone in this event already know the three of us. But for those of you who don't, I'm Beatriz, and I'm the IDF Advocacy Manager, and I'm here with my two colleagues.
I'm Bruno. I'm a program coordinator for the Kids and Diabetes School program, and also I have the privilege to say that I'm a YLD mentor.
Hi everyone, I'm Isa Mercier and I work as IDF Junior Professional Officer, and I'm the one who coordinates the YLDs, so often you write to me. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here also.
Thank you, guys. So indeed, Isor is the person behind the advocacy at idf.org email. So, well, we have had all this background from some of our previous young leaders and also from the IDF Board Youth Committee about why YLD is important and why the IDF members should nominate young leaders for the new cohort. This is going to be the 7th IDF cohort since we started the program in 2011. So now let's move to explaining to you the nomination process. We launched a call for nominations the 11th of April. And how can IDF members nominate a young leader for the next cohort? So the next cohort is going to take place in the next 3 years, including 2024. So it's going to be 2024, 25, and 26. And each IDF member is encouraged to nominate up to 2 candidates. First of all, we recommend all of you to discuss with anyone who is young from your network if they will be willing to implement a project and dedicate time to the YLD program. This is very important. You need to have this discussion first because some people are nominated and then we see that they actually don't have the time because they are studying quite demanding careers, or maybe they won't have the capacity to implement a project. So it's very important that you first have this discussion with them. And if you see that the person will be having the time to be a young leader, then you have 2 documents to fill that we have already shared with all of the IDF members. First of all, there is the application form. So this one is to be filled by the candidate or the candidates, if you nominate 2. It has to be filled in English because all of the young leaders are supposed to have a basic knowledge of the language at least, and while the program is run entirely in this language. So they have to fill it, to sign it, and then send it to you. And you, when you receive the application form, need to fill a reference form and sign it. So this form will contain information about the relation that you have with your candidate, when did you meet them, how they have supported your IDF member, and this type of information. And then the deadline to submit these 2 forms to advocacy@idf.org, and that is short, as we were saying before, is the end of June 30. And we really encourage everyone to submit applications by the deadline. We cannot extend the deadline more. It's going to be 2.5 months to identify and nominate young leaders. So yeah, we're looking forward to receiving these documents. And we can move to the next slide.
Yep, and we wanted to share a few considerations for you to keep in mind before nominating a candidate. So this is a really important point that we wanted to highlight, is that we request you to only nominate a candidate if you know that they are committed in implementing their YLD project in 2025-2026. And if you will have the capacity to support them throughout the 3 years of the YLD term. This is really important because, and why are we specifying it now? It's because we notice an important number of young leaders who became inactive after attending the face-to-face training summit, and this results in IDF dedicating human resources and financial resources to train young leaders who will not implement any projects their community could benefit from. So we think this is unfair to candidates who are not accepted into the program due to the limited number of places available. And so that's why we really encourage you to choose your candidate carefully. And next slide, please.
So the criteria for the nominations is that we are looking for youth people between 18 and 30 years old by end of March 2025. Any person living with any type of diabetes is accepted. They need to be able to communicate effectively in English. We are not looking for native speaker levels, but as most of the YLD's communications with the trainees is in English, is important for them to be able to understand. As previously mentioned by both Bea and Isa, the face-to-face event is just one part, one component of the YLD training program. So we have online sessions, and for that we need to ensure that the trainees have regular access to internet to be able to communicate with IDF and other YLDs. It's important that you nominate only YLDs that you already know and that you have an active relation, and that you can maintain this relation throughout the whole term, so 2024 until 2026. We are looking for people or young people who are passionate about making a difference in the diabetes community, but also has the time and the responsibility to commit to implement the diabetes project in partnership with their members and report on the progress to IDF every 4 months. And last but not least, in terms of time management, we are asking between 2 to 4 hours a month for engaging in different IDF activities, plus additional time to engage with the member and developing the project, considering all the benefits that the training brings to individuals and to IDF members. We don't think there's a lot of time that they will have to commit considering the returning. So next slide.
And so to say a few words on the timeline, so as you know, we launched the call for YLD's nomination in April. And right now we're having the webinar where you can ask all the questions you may have on the nomination process. The deadline to send your nominations and applications is on June 30th. So please send your application soon. And then once the call is closed, we will contact candidates and request them to take a number of courses from the Understanding Diabetes platform. This is a new step that we added due to the lack of, due to the disengagement from previous YLDs. So it's a mandatory step, and candidates who do not comply with this will not be accepted in the next program. And then in September, IDF will contact all candidates and inform them on the results of their nomination and send invitation to the Bangkok training. Then from October, we will also coordinate with the young leaders and discuss their participation in the Bangkok training. Later this year, we will also organize another webinar to welcome the new cohort and discuss the planning for the Bangkok training. And next year in April 2025, it's when the Young Leaders in Diabetes Leadership Training Summit will happen in Bangkok. And from May, we will invite all the new members to start working on the project for their IDF members until December 2026. So if you have any questions on the timeline, this is the moment to ask your questions and let us know. And next slide, please.
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. Thank you, Isan. And this is the last slide before moving to the Q&A. At that moment, when we are starting the Q&A, we are going to make all of you panelists. So we would like you actually to, if you have any question, to open your webcam and your microphone and ask the questions. So I'm just telling you this so you are ready, because you are going to see a sign in a couple of minutes saying that you are now a panelist in this webinar. So the last slide that we want to present to you is obviously about the Leadership Training Summit that will take place in 2025. So as you know, all the previous training summits have taken place in parallel to the IDF Congress. We think this is a great way for actually young leaders to interact with the rest of delegates to the IDF Congress, and also to see the vibe at the Congress, because all the diabetes community is attending there. You know that the next Congress is taking place in Bangkok in April 2025. And we need to tell you that we are positive that this training will happen, but we cannot confirm it yet 100%. It's going to depend on IDF having sufficient funds to organize this training. So we will inform you probably during the summer whether this is happening or not. And again, we are positive, but we will need to see. And if the YLD Training Summit takes place, we will be extending invitation to young leaders from the 24-26 cohort who have proved their commitment to the YLD program. And again, this will be linked to what Isor was saying about this little task that we're going to ask people to do this summer, such as following some of the understanding diabetes courses or sending us some information about the idea of the project they want to develop. And also, we would like to extend the invitation to a limited number of YLD mentors who have attended previous trainings. And again, we will need to see how much funds we have and how many people in total we can invite. Regarding travel, so the travel to the YLD Summit, so to Bangkok, if this takes place, we need to be financed either by the YLD training themselves or the IDF member. So IDF will cover everything else, accommodation on site, the meals, and the transportation on site as well. But the travel itself, in principle, has to be covered by the YLD or the IDF member. There are some exceptions because IDF is going to provide a number of travel grants from young leaders from low and lower middle income countries from all of the IDF regions, and this will be as per the World Bank classification. So again, we don't have a lot of information about this at the moment. We will let you know when we get closer to the date, and definitely by the end of the summer, when we will communicate the young leaders who have been accepted in the network this news, we will be able to share more news with you. And this concludes the presentation about the nomination process. So now we're going to be moving to the Q&A. So I ask all of the speakers and panelists today to open their webcam, please. And while everyone is being made a panelist, I'm going to be checking some of the information that we have in here. So Yotsana was leaving a very interesting comment. So I'm going to start making a summary of that. And then Yotsana, when you are made a panelist and you can actually unmute yourself and share your webcam, maybe you can let us know what do you feel about this new nomination process and if you have any other ideas. So she was saying that she had an opinion about how to make the next cohort more committed. She knows that there have been challenges with previous YLDs that only actually participate in YLD because they want to be in the face-to-face training and then they don't do their project. Yotsana was part of the YLD social media group and she knows of all these challenges because she was also struggling to get information to post on social media together with the rest of the social media group. So she was saying that maybe we need to make a stronger criteria to get YLDs admitted, and that it may help solve the problem. So Yotsana, I see that you are a panelist now. So my colleague Isor has been sharing actually this idea that we have of asking the candidates to join the Young Leader Program to do a number of things this summer. So if you can unmute yourself and open your webcam, what do you think about that? And of course, if you have any other ideas, we will be very happy to have that into consideration.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Beatrice. Glad to be here. And it was a wonderful session hearing about all the wonderful, inspiring journey. So the only opinion that I had since, I've been handling the YLD social media channel from the last 3 years. And, in the last cohort, we appointed few members who wanted to take up the YLD social media and actively contribute towards it. But it's almost been a year. We are trying to follow up with them to get them active on the channel. And, because we have had a very good engagement on our social media channels. And we saw that, it has not been active as much as we wanted it to be. So my only opinion is that, we need to have young leaders who are equally passionate, dedicated towards this cause. Because, a lot of people are getting into advocacy, and we definitely want more and more people to, learn about advocacy and find ways in which they can have a meaningful impact. But at the same time, you have to be 100% committed to the cause. And I'm glad that finally, we have some changes in the criteria, which will help us to ensure that we only get the best of the best advocates who are willing to contribute and, inspire others and give back to the community. So, Beatrice, I think, the change in the criteria is good enough. But if there's anything that I think would add more, I will definitely let you know. But for now, I think this is good to go.
Super, thank you, Josanna, and obviously not only for you, but for everyone else who is watching this as a recording. If you have any ideas, just let us know. And I see that Jackie has her hand raised.
Yes, just a quick comment in relation to social media. There is also a responsibility on the member associations. We want them to be involved. We want them to tag whenever their young leader in diabetes is involved in any activity. They need to tag the social media channel. But for that, we need to share the handles of that social media, maybe with all the members, to remind them. Maybe they have it, maybe not. So that would be probably good. And also the young people who are super active normally on social media, take some time from, all the social media channels and do something good through social media. So that's a very important point. Thank you, Jotana.
Thank you, Jackie. And we do have another question from Timothy. So Timothy, if you want to open your webcam and unmute yourself and you ask the question yourself, that would be great. Otherwise, we will repeat it.
I think she's no longer in the call, Bea.
I'm seeing her as a panelist, but well, I mean, she's not unmuting herself. Well, Timothy, you're invited to intervene when you want. So I will read the question from Timothy. So she's saying that to the best she can remember, Timothy, by the way, is a Blue Circle voice from Nigeria, a very active one, by the way. So she has been commenting on the chat that as far as she can remember, IDF has never done anything with the Blue Circle voices, which is similar to this face-to-face training that we do with the young leaders. So she's asking, why is that? So obviously from the IDF office perspective, you know that we are a global organization, but still we are a very small team. This means that we have very limited resources. So the reason why we have been focusing on the young leaders really is because they are nominated by an IDF member and they collaborate strongly with an IDF member. That means that when we are organizing this face-to-face training, actually for most of the people who will be in that training, the travel is not going to be paid by IDF because we do not have the funds to do that. This travel is going to be covered mostly by the IDF members, sometimes by the trainees themselves. So we have been exploring for a few years now if we can do something similar with the Blue Circle voices. And the problem is the Blue Circle voices, we do not select them in cohorts. So they apply spontaneously at any time. So it's not that we can have a cohort that we bring together. And also most of the Blue Circle voices actually apply by themselves. They are not collaborating directly with an IDF member. And that is mainly the reason, but please, Timothy and all the Blue Circle voices who are watching this, please rest assured that we are trying to keep on thinking about how we can do more with the Blue Circle voices. And we are hoping that at the next IDF Congress, we can also count with a representation of Blue Circle voices on site. So that's my feedback. And I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything about that. Otherwise, I'm going to start.
Yeah, just to add that they are part of the Advocacy Academy, and they are, everyone doesn't matter if it's on the Blue Circle voice or YLD, a role to play in this promoting diabetes and raising awareness, and they are part of a powerful network of people living with diabetes that IDF uses, of course, and to change the landscape of diabetes worldwide. YLD has an age target, so the nominees have to be 18 to 30, and the Blue Circle voices are open to all ages. So in a way, they are complement each other. So, but Bea, can you please go on with the question and answer?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, the idea, and that's also why we wanted to have this session for everyone and not only for the young leaders, is because we think both YLD and BCV yes, they need to collaborate, and they actually contribute to each other programs. So we will continue exploring how actually we can bring this forward. And of course, if you have any ideas, and I see, for example, Rudy, who is a BCV, and Timothy, who is another BCV. Yotsana, you are both, you're a YLD and a BCV. So if you have any ideas actually about more things that we could do to engage in the same project, both networks, we will appreciate that very much. I see you also online, so if you have any ideas, feel free to send that. Rudy is saying maybe we can plan an engagement for BCV with the advocacy team ahead of the IDF Congress 2025. Rudy, I see you online, so if you want to unmute yourself and mention a bit what you have in mind.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much to the IDF advocacy team and the wonderful panel for leading this through this webinar. And I'm extremely delighted. My journey has been fantastic ever since I've been the Blue Circle voice. I'm really inspired by the young leaders who shared their experiences and are so motivated to make a difference. So I'm looking forward to engage with the team going further the upcoming months. But I had just one suggestion, like one that Jyotsna suggested about the social media team. Maybe we could have a sort of a guideline or a handout that can be emailed so that we know how do we go about it. Of course, recently I wanted to share something and I did receive a very nice email explaining me how to go about it. But I think we can invite a little more proactive engagement, because some of us would love to do that. And going further, maybe ahead of the Congress, we can see how we can collaborate together, the advocacy team, the board, as well as the Blue Circle voices and the young leaders. You know, something can be planned ahead of the Congress. So while we are there, we can make a meaningful impact. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Rudy. And actually, we were lucky because we have one of the IDF Congress chairs in here. Irina is part of that committee. So I know that for sure she's going to bear all the young leaders and the Blue Circle voices in mind when it comes to Congress engagement. About the YLD project. So we have shared the link, and please note that normally we only post the YLD projects once they are finalized. We will be posting very soon the projects of the current cohort. And also there is a link when we will be sharing again next week. So probably on Tuesday or on Wednesday, all IDF members will receive again a reminder about the YLD nomination process. So you will be receiving again the application and the reference form, instructions on how to fill everything. There will be a link to this recording, so all of you can watch it. And also we will be adding a link so you can check projects from the previous YLDs. And I think the Q&A can conclude, but Joao still has a couple of things to share with you, same as Irina.
Thank you. Just going to the end of this webinar. Can you share the screen, Iso, with the slides? There's a couple of more things that we would like to say. Of course, the first thing that to thank you all for attending this webinar. Thank you very much for all those attended the webinar, and to the panelists and the discussion panelists that we had. Laura, Alexandra, and Nurian, many thanks for joining us and for their contribution. Next slide, please. Closing remarks, just a few things that we would like to say again. We are going to send the questionnaire to you all, and we hope that you have fun to fill it out and respond back. Because, as I said, these will pause in the next online events. If you have any questions regarding the YLD, Blue Circle Voices, and nomination process, do send us an email to advocacy@idf.org, of course. Next slide, please. And there's a teaser for all of you. You're going to have the next IDF online event, which is Diabetes and Wellbeing, More Than Access to Care, which is a side event at the Old Health Assembly in Geneva on the 28th of May. Okay, so it's a teaser for all of you to attend, of course. We would like to have all of you on board. Next slide, please. And then I'm going to pass to Irina to say a few words about the IDF Congress in Bangkok in April next year.
Thank you, Joe. First of all, I'm very happy that we have a lot of audience and great panelists who really inspire us to this great motivation to continue our work for diabetes area and improve life people with diabetes. As co-chair of this Congress with my colleagues Antonio Cirella, I would like to inform you about greatest event in diabetes area. The International Diabetes Federation will host in World Diabetes Congress in Bangkok, in Thailand, from April 7 to 10. Its greatest event, as I say, of course, it's event like scientific, a lot of scientific questions. You can, if you go to this page, you can see that it's clinical, therapeutic, and technology research, and also diabetes complication and diabetes in women. A lot of interest in scientific session. But I would like to underline that this Congress is unique because patient voice people with diabetes is very strong in this, and many sessions will be include people with diabetes who share them experience and opinion, and this is very, very important. Collaborate with scientists, with doctor, with nurse, because they are work for us, as I see. And please disseminate this information. You see that registration is open now, and abstract submission start from 15 July till 15 September. And you have a lot of people who is scientist, who is doctor. Please disseminate through your member association, through your network, personal network. It will be very important, and we will be attend to this YLD program. I think it will be great opportunity to join to this Congress also, and our YLD team can have opportunity to see some session in this greatest Congress. And finally, I would like to say that we have special event on this Congress because it will be significant occasion for our community, as 2025 will mark our 75 years IDF. It was founded officially on September 1950. Young people cannot even know about this data, sure. And it will be very interesting. And this is celebration our work together and our communication. I'm sure everybody who has chance to attend to this Congress will be inspired for the next few years. Thank you very much. I hope I see you in Congress. But I would like to underline and also support my colleagues like Joao, Jackie, and Anna, that please, young people, please ask your member association and your dream comes true. Come to our program. Thank you.
Thank you, Irina. And just the final word before finish up this. I was thinking during the webinar, and to be honest, I really would like to say that the contact with the youngsters along my life, which I have every single year, has made me a better person for sure, has inspired me a lot, and I think I'm doing more because of that contact with the youngsters. Again, thank you all for being here with us. And that's all, folks. Hope to see you soon, online or in person. Take care.